And of course, he had no tiles, and the endgame collapse was running out. He was running out of time. So I said in chat, okay, the only way he makes this is 4 spins, and I believe he can. And that's exactly what he did. He ran into him, spins his chainsaw 4 times, makes it out.
Yeah, I remember that clip of I think it was Boobo Billy actually in the end game, and the serve. I don't remember who the serve was, but they had hope, and they just barely made it out with the no M1 speed. Yeah, it was Exilus. Oh, I miss those times as well. Singularity on
Deadlock.
Yeah, Singularity on DDS is very good 4v1 map, but 1v1 map, I prefer Wreckers personally. This is he might actually even be dead here.
Oh yeah, that's how quickly it can end. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I don't like playing in Singularity personally. How quickly it can end is brutal. That was half a minute, barely. I think the only option you really have against Singularity is you try to make it to those houses, right? Because then he can't teleport onto you constantly, because you're going to have that pod on you immediately. Like there's no way around it in a 1v1.
You can also try to just pre-leave Shack and go main. Like that main is always, it's just free time, even versus Singularity, who can TB onto you, get the he can get the overclock speed and then vault the window after you. But as you saw there,
windows.
Yeah, Southlxne, he had live, so he could just vault the window and get free distance. So that's another play that you can do. But typically, you can just play Shack and then try to go to main somehow. But on this map, the pallets already are in the killer's favor because they're usually quite weak. Like unless the survivor has finesse or something. But with Singularity, it's even more so because of his speed that he gets out of an overclock. And also the fact that he can just swing through pallets and not really care about getting stunned, because he doesn't actually get stoned, but he gets a little bit hindered. And then also, another thing you have to worry about as serve is if the Singularity is not an overclock, you can, and you're camping a pallet, if he pulls up his little gun to aim at you, if you drop the pallet, it instantly breaks the pallet, and then he can TP back on you almost instantly. So you get pretty much no distance. So Singularity can be very risky, especially on a map like this.
I appreciate our our players here for picking Dead Dog, however, over Wrecker's Yard, because we're going to see much more Wrecker's Yard than Dead Dog.
Oh yeah, Wrecker's going to be like that's going to be the one 9 times out of 10
map. Yeah.
Yeah, he chooses the add-on to start with Infection, so he doesn't actually have to even waste time using the pods.
I'm not even sure if that's allowed, because we were contemplating earlier today if we're going to allow this add-on. It seems like, we're starting off the chase, no one's saying anything, so I guess so. That was also very risky. I love how Svexy's playing around it.
Yeah, he's just pre-dropping shy. I'm not going to play risky at all. Ooh, and he just absolutely loses them. I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication there, because Svexy teabagged, obviously, to start the chase, but there wasn't like a whole lot of running, so I think Southlxne assumed that they were restarting like the start for whatever reason.
Or he was trying to catch them off main, so to get like the camera on him quicker. That's what I would have thought. But yeah, with the hit coming in this late, Svexy's already won, despite the add-on. That normally gives you such an advantage. But he also breaks out here perfectly, gets the live, and Singularity's on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, another nice thing about Singularity is that if you are vaulting a window, if you just stand still, the Singularity TPs on you, he TPs on the other side of the window. And see there, you can camp a pallet and the Singularity just instantly breaks it.
Yep. So far, fantastic by Svexy. Plays around this killer perfectly every single time. The TPs are just not connecting. He's making sure he gets slowed down by these pallets so he connects to the next tile. Honestly, I've never... The slow wall was kind of questionable there. But,
no, it was
it was a what?
Calculated.
Yeah, it's the slow wall for the lads, you know. But honestly, I've not seen a survivor that confident against the Singularity in a long time. That was really nicely played.
Yeah, this is what I should have been in this tournament. I would pick Singularity every set and still get 30-second chase, but you know, I'd look cool doing it.
Definitely. But yeah, wow, that's how quickly that was just over. That was a whole set. Both cases were half a minute and what was the other one? Like 48 seconds?
Yeah, I think so. It was
somewhere around that line. But yeah.
Yeah. And now we have my absolute favorite set. Oh my god. Booba.
I can assure you this is absolutely everybody's favorite set. There are so many people, be it in the Twitch chat and the YouTube comments, always saying that they want to see this killer on DBDLeague. Here we can finally deliver. Same way with Trapper, how he's never included for 4v1 tournaments. The second time was 1 minute 19, so he beat him by twice even, or twice the amount. And but yeah,
when you had the Hens Invitational, like the tiebreaker being a Trapper 1v1 on Cowshed, now the lore behind it, completely understandable why you choose Trapper, but Booba would have been so much better. Seeing Rocket Booba versus Pedro Serve, that would have been absolute peak cinema.
Dude, now that you point out the Trapper 1v1 on Cowshed, that brings me back to like, I think late 2021 when Odstava hosted a joke event. Cowshed, his Trapper.
Oh yeah, I remember that
event. I got second in that, I think.
Oh, we see BL. Oh, they do choose Ironworks. Good. This is what I was talking about.
Yeah, finally. As you said, I've hardly seen this map. You said it's been recently introduced. I'm really happy to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this map can be really bad for the Booba because obviously, like you can have such differing RNG next to Shack. Like you can have God Rocks, you can have eye loops, you can have jungle gems and pallet gems and everything. But
we're going default.
Yeah, see now
that's what you pointed out about the eye loop earlier. He doesn't have it right next to Shack. He has it further down the path. Would you say that's already a weakness in this RNG?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's much more outplayable for the Bubba, meaning that he can zone him there a lot easier. But it looks like I think he went not Bamboozle Dark Arrogance. I think that's Bamboozle Unrelenting, which is actually another choice. That's actually the only other killer I think where people bring. Oh no, that is Dark Arrogance. Never mind. It's a very quick M1. He makes the eye loop though, so. Booba, typically you don't really want to play for the chainsaw. You want to use the chainsaw on pallets, but you want to actually play for the M1s. From the charge speed, it looks like he's maybe brought double speed.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Yeah, it's very good for outplaying. Yeah, it is double speed. Yep, I thought so.
He does.
Oh, it's not even
nice Dark Arrogance.
Yeah, it's superior.
Yeah, I find that that's going to be super funny to see once we get to that point. Bubba add-ons is also just such an interesting thing because there is just no common consensus on what's the best. So many people bring speed. Light chassis were banned recently too from the ladder because people considered it too powerful with the constant aura reveal. But yeah, now it's double speed, it's duration, it's recharge. So the primer bulb, for example, double speed is a rare sight, and it didn't even matter in the end.
Chase.
Wow.
Yeah,
this goes down that palette.
I personally prefer Beast Marks and Primer Bulb because I personally think that's the best. But I remember seeing an Ivan stream not long ago when he was doing some ladder games, and he was using chassis and he was just spamming the M2 on a jungle gem and just laughing as he was seeing the aura the entire time.
Yeah, especially because in 1v1s you should never get chainsaw downs. You usually play around the M1s because the chainsaw downs are so difficult to get with the abundance of windows and pallets and how safe people play. So you have to get super lucky if you want the chainsaw to pay off, or if you manage to completely zone your opponent. Then only then does it work, but you should at that point already have got the M1.
Yeah, pretty much you just want to try to zone with chainsaw and use the risk of chainsaw to get the M1. Because obviously the survivor, like if it's Trapper, you can hold W on certain things because you know there's no risk of getting insta-downed. But with Bubba, there is still that risk. So you actually have to play a bit more safe, and that can cause you to get M1 a lot more often. Like we saw on that, what I call the fake LT, where he vaults. He gets the superior anatomy speed, which is why he didn't actually vault Shack as fast. I noticed that his vault was a bit slower, so I was thinking that it wasn't Dark Arrogance, and it was maybe Unrelenting, but I forgot superior is actually allowed. So he gets the
fake LT because most people I know just call it double window.
Yeah, I just call it a fake LT because obviously it's a double window tile that was just brought in randomly, and it's like, okay,
and it's not as cool as a TL.
Yeah, okay, you wanna be.
Yeah, perfect way of putting it.
But yeah, as you saw, he played patient on the window because he could have gone around and got a chainsaw instantly, and that caused the Bubba to just insta-vault and get an M1, when normally he could have made distance to the pallet gym and been able to not even get hit there. And here we see, yes, I like me some unrelenting.
Happy. And now that with the win con in mind, Svexy has to get down his opponent in under 1 minute and 30 seconds. How does Unrelenting affect this killer? Because I'm honestly confused.
Like, people would think that the vault speed is really good, but you don't have like the catch-up potential of Demogorgon, for example. Like, because if you obviously vault quicker, then you're able to use your shred quicker, and that can close distance because of how fast the shred is. But with Bubba, you don't really have that because you have the charge speed of the chainsaw, and then the chainsaw is relatively slow. So you typically just want the bamboozle for blocking the window, so you force the pallet down. With Unrelenting, you're able to just... The survivor doesn't have nearly as much distance. With normal, like, Trapper, for example, or even Bubba, you can loop Shaq once entirely and go straight to the window. But with Unrelenting, you can't loop the entire Shaq and still make window. So it cuts out a lot more of the time on Shaq, and then you're able to get the pallet out of the way quicker, and Shaq is the safest tile versus Bubba, of course.
That's really interesting, because Unrelenting to me has always just been the stroke perk. Also, I don't know what Southlxne's doing at the minute. He's didn't get a concussion from the previous game.
Yeah, he's just cooking some food right now. He's got some ramen on the stove. It's overheating.
Oh, he's got the crow. That he has to get rid of first, of course, otherwise that's going to be a huge disadvantage. Already P6 on Tori Kane too, that's quite admirable. Yeah,
this is the sign of a great 1v1 player. A crow above the head and a P6 character, exactly.
Just though. Oh yeah, if you have Unrelenting, you also get to start fast, I just realized.
Yeah, exactly. That's the advantage of Unrelenting, is you get to gain more distance off the start. And also Unrelenting does help, like, later on if you happen to miss an M1, because, like, you lose a 50-50 on a vault.
Window.
Exactly.
Or that, yeah, true, that too.
He's got...
And then this fire basically won't be allowed to skip the tile, just because you just missed.
Yeah, he can greed that because he doesn't have double speed. He can tell by the charge time. So obviously he has less charge time, which means he knows he doesn't have double speed, so he's not going to be as fast, and he can kind of greed things a bit more. Takes it in one. He can just run main and probably live off of this, and I think he can probably beat the win con off of that.
Yeah,
as long as he doesn't get mind gamed.
This time we're also seeing purple chilies, so that slight extra duration. Sadly, ever since the add-ons got reworked, the chilies were significantly nerfed, which is why most people don't even go with them anymore. But this chainsaw might just catch up if he calls it right. He hits him straight through the pallet, and it is not going to suffice. That is a 2-0 win for Svexy.
That was actually purple chili carrying, actually, because he was able to get more time off of his charges. With double speed, he may have made that. I'm not sure. I don't know the distancing exactly.
Very close. But yeah, I'm bad-mouthing the add-on, and then it just gave him the down, technically.